Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. We are back for a Europa League preview, which we like because Arsenal can actually kind of win these games. They're not doing so well in the league at winning games, but we're great to talk about the Europa League because we can actually look at these games as possible victories. I'm going to be joined by a guest to talk about Arsenal's game against Rapid Vienna, so let's crack on. Wolfgang is back. How you doing, mate? Are you well?
I'm fine, hello Tom. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. Do you want to just, for those people that somehow don't know who you are by now, just for the new listeners, do you want to introduce yourself for them?
Hello guys. Most of you will know me from last time or from other stuff I did with Tom together. I'm Wolfgang. I'm 40, close to 43 years now. In 4 weeks, I've had my birthday. I'm a professional football scout, football intermediary, and head researcher for Sports Impact, the football manager for Germany and Austria. Yeah, and Tom saying often I'm an expert in football, so okay, I'll call myself an expert. Nice to see you all here. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, no, I think it's great to have you back on the show. Last time it was a good show talking about kind of and I guess educating people around who kind of Rapid Vienna are and looking at the club. And now that we've played each other, I mean, let's briefly talk about the first game because it's fair to say that we ourselves made it very tough. We made it a lot harder than I was expecting it to. But then again, Arsenal haven't been too great this season, so maybe I shouldn't be too surprised in hindsight. What did you make of the first game?
Ah, for sure, the mistake from the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
The game changed the game in a minute, and this changed his game in a minute because he didn't play since. But and you have seen in every single minute, Arsenal was the better team, of course, and they played without any pressure. First 45 minutes. So you have seen after Aubameyang was coming in, the game was better, was faster, and was maybe too fast for the Rapid side. So as I expected in our preview before, and I said it could be a tough match, but also it could be a one-sided match for Arsenal. And if Arsenal had played in full strength or with full pressure on it, it would be less than 5 goals. So I guess 0-5, 0-6. You have seen it in the game. There was only one big chance for Rapid Vienna, and this was a mistake from the goalkeeper. So I see it will be same will be tomorrow. Arsenal is the bigger team. Arsenal is the better team,
mm.
and Rapid will struggle to make the same good game again as they did in the first 45 minutes. So let's see.
Yeah, the last time it was very much a case. Arsenal are always going to play a kind of weakened squad in the Europa League, especially with how thick and fast the games are coming in the Premier League as well, and especially how bad Arsenal have been in the Premier League. That Arteta kind of needs to focus a lot of rotation to keep players fit. Some people have argued that Arsenal should be playing some of the first string players in the Europa League to try and get momentum up, improve like morale, and get them playing better together and more cohesively. But rotation is so key, especially coming up in England to the Christmas period where there's so many games back to back. You start playing 3 games within like 6, 7, 8 days. So it's going to get crazy. I suppose we should go straight into kind of what we do on the previous shows. We look at each other's lineup. So we'll start with Rapid and look what you've gone for. There's a couple of differences from last time. The main thing though, and I know a couple of people in the chat box will ask about, is that there's no Yusuf Demir in the lineup. We had a little brief discussion beforehand, and you still don't think he's quite ready for the first team.
Absolutely. Okay, let's start with Demir to have this. Yusuf Demir is a really, really great player, and he's scored also some goals right now. But in my opinion, he's not ready to play in the starting 11 against Arsenal in the European League. Had not played any single minute from start in the league. So why should he play in the EuroLeague against Arsenal? Don't think so. On the other side, he will play for sure this game if he's ready, if he's fit. I don't know, maybe something will happen in the next hours, but I guess he's fit and I guess he will play. And we can see he's a really, really well-gifted player, and he can dictate the game as we did in our 11 goals report.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Damia, but as I expect, he will not play from the start. So that's my predicted starting 11. And let's talk about it. You can see in the goal there is a swap. Gardler came in, Streminger went out. It happened after the game against Arsenal. After that mistake he did, he came out too early. He came out with no concentration on the ball. He wasn't focused on it. And so, yeah, it would easily to make the header on the goal and to score the equalizer. So that's was the big problem for Strebinger. And since this day, he's out of the team.
Has Gartler been better? Like, has Gartler been good since Strebinger's been taken out?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I think Strebinger is the better goalkeeper, but actually I don't know what happened with his mind. He's maybe not focused fully on it. Maybe the Corona situation is driving him crazy or something else. And because he's a young father, and maybe that's a possibility for me to say, okay, he's worried about all this, what's happening in Europe or in Austria, especially right now with Corona. And maybe that's a reason why his head is not really fully concentrated on his game. But no, I'm not a psychologist, so maybe yes. But Gartler is a young keeper. Really, really big potential in his, but he is sometimes too nervous on the game. He tried to do the best. He has very, very good reflexes. So last game against Austria in the Bundesliga was a great game from him. Good reflexes, and some of them did what a monster save. Because he was on the line in front of him. There was standing the striker and gave him not much space there, and had a very fun reaction and a reflex to pull the ball aside on the field. So he's a good keeper on the line. He's not a goalkeeper, so his problems are more in the air. So jumping is very good, but yeah, he cannot jump as a player with 1.9 or 1.92. So that's maybe a big problem for him too. And yeah, he's still young, and I hope he will do a great game. Arsenal, his first great game, and yeah, I guess so. The other ones, there's not much changes from the last game. Ullmann, Barak,
Barrage,
that's similar to the game we had in Vienna. There's only one. Kreimer could be maybe replaced by Maxi Hofmann. He would be the captain. On the other side, Maxi Hofmann will be suspended next game because of his fifth yellow card in the Bundesliga. So maybe Didi Küper will give Kreimer the chance to play there because he has to play also next round in the Bundesliga. So that's why I say maybe Kreimer, maybe Hofmann. It's not. I can't say it exactly, but I guess Barros will play for sure. Ullmann and Stojkovic for sure, because there are no other options. We have no options on the left side. We have no options on the right side. Midfield, my prediction is left side Arase. He played this also in the derby against Austria Vienna last week. But maybe also he can bring in Meli Ibrahimoğlu, a young guy from the second team. He's now in the first team, played also, I guess, before the derby was played. He's a good fun guy. Could play instead of Arase. In the midfield, Ritzmeier, Grahovac. Grahovac is actually number one defensive midfielder because Petrovic is out with an unknown injury.
Right.
So he is number 6 right now. Ritzmeier could get changed by Gnasmüller because Gnasmüller has a really, really good run right now. He scored in the last 6 games, I guess, 6 goals.
Oh, wow.
Also in the European League against Dundalk, he scored a fantastic wide shot. And so maybe he could play instead of Ritzmeier, but I guess he will let him out and sit on the bench to have him full fit in the next round in the league. Funtas, Schick on the other side. Schick scored the goal in Derby. Played a good game there. I can't see any other player who can play his position right now in the team because we have a lot of injured players. Maybe he could say he will put Schick out and will put Emir inside to give him a chance.
Yeah.
It would be a possibility, but I don't think so. I think it will be Schick there, and Emir will come in the second half. And we can see the position strikers, Fontes and Kara. He's a good striker, as we mentioned last time, but actually he has an underform. He's not playing really good. He's not. His acceleration is not good. His pace is not good. His vision is not good. The biggest problem for me is since he had his debut in the Greece national team, he's not the same player like before.
Right.
Don't know why. Maybe he's now another person because I've played for a national team. I've scored for a national team. I'm a better player right now. No, he isn't. He's the same player like before. But he isn't showing this on the field right now. So he is more try to fight against the other players because he's sometimes you can't see the player next to him and he likes to be the best man on the field. It's very dangerous what he's doing right now because he is the best player, of course.
Yeah.
And he cannot bring it. And in front, my lovely player, Giancarlo. What a great player. You have seen him in the first game. He's great. He's a great body. He's always on the field. He is working very, very hard. Good ball control, good first touch, good shots. But he needs more experience in the high level. He went up from the third league to the second league and in the Bundesliga in only 1.5 years.
Yeah,
so that's big gap. It's a big gap. Maybe you can compare it with step from the first league in England to the Premier League.
Right, so it's like League One.
The same gap because the third league is really, really poor. And Bundesliga is much better than the league. So he did a big step there, and now he's number one striker at Rapid Vienna.
Yeah.
And not Kitakala, Japanese guy who came from 1.8 million euro. And he's not really playing well and is not scoring. He's scoring the 3-0 or the 4-0, but not the really important goal.
He's not the difference maker.
And that's great. But he has space on the 16 meters or 20 meters in front of the goal. He's only seeing the goal and he's scoring, or he tries to get the goal. That's Clara. So on the bench there will be the same players like every. We have some young players there like Leon Schuster, but he's too young to be in the starting 11. And the rest is we will see what will happen in the game. I expect nothing much because the team will be focused on the league. Because the gap between Salzburg and last game is now actually, I guess, 4 or 5 points. We need to do something there. They're out from the cup. So we need to be concentrated to focus on the league right now and focus on the game against Molde in Vienna in the EuroLeague.
I think Rapid can go through. But the loss against Molde in the first kind of half of the games was such a big hit. That ultimately,
always depends on tomorrow. If Molde can win against Dundalk, it will be very, very hard to make the second place there, because you need to win against Molde at home with at least 2 goals.
To go, because it's done on head-to-head. It's not done on goal difference, isn't it? So
it is.
It
will
really
be goal difference after.
I was expecting you to beat Molde, to be honest, in the first game. So
same here. Yeah.
So I was really shocked when it didn't happen, and because obviously being a big fan of Austrian football, I wanted them to go through with us. And obviously it's great watching Salzburg beat Lokomotiv last night, and Muller's late penalty against Atletico Madrid means that if Salzburg beat Atleti in Salzburg, they can go through too. So it'd be great to see the Austrian sides go through, because I think Wolfsberger have kind of ruined their chances in their group this season. So Yeah, they don't really have a hope in hell, and it'd be interesting to see what happens with Lask in Spurs group, and if anything can come of that. But yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
No. Go on. Don't like to talk to Lusk. So.
So let's have a look at what you might be up against. This is obviously what I'd be interested to see. Now, there's a couple. I've put Mari's name with a slash next to it because we don't know. He played in the under-23s game. He got 45 minutes against them. He's coming back from fitness. This could be a good game, of course, with Arsenal having qualified already, to throw him into, to give him those minutes to try and get him through. It might not be him, though. It might be that someone else like Holding comes in and plays. Chambers was not mentioned at all during the day. He had played several games within the 23s. He's assumed to be fully fit and available for selection now, so Chambers could come in. And if so, I'm actually really interested to see Chambers playing on the right side of a back three. The first thing you'll notice is that I've gone for a back three. I think ahead of Spurs, Arsenal are going to be looking to play that back three. I think that's the way they're going to try and tackle, and it's good to try and keep consistency. So Mustafi, Chambers, and someone, maybe Marie in the back three. I'm thinking that's quite unlikely, but it needs to be someone left-footed. So if it's not Marie, Gabriel could come in, but we might look to rest him. I think Luiz's injury obviously is a bit of an issue for us in that area, and not having him and needing to rest Gabriel here and there might change what we do. But Tierney, of course, needs a rest as well. Kolasinac is back after, of course, self-isolating due to having COVID, so he is now back into the lineup and should be playing on that left-hand side, be it as a back four or the back five. Cedric, we expect him to play most of our second-tier competition games on their right side, giving Bellerin a rest ahead of the North London derby. And then midfield's an interesting one because there's a lot of interesting rumours around Thomas Partey flying around right now. I don't expect him to play in this game. What I can tell you about Thomas Partey is that he's desperate to be playing. He would play in this game if it was down to him. He is desperate to be playing football. We've been hearing conflicting rumours around the Ghanaian as to whether he is actually fit for the weekend or if he's going to be out until the new year. There's been so many differing reports coming out. I think there's an element the club wants to keep part of it quite quiet. I also think there's an element of the club wanting to keep things under wraps as much as possible and to try and maintain his fitness as much as possible. But actually, he is not as badly injured from what I'm aware of as what we've been told previously. So it's going to be interesting to see when Partey does come back. There is even a slight chance he could be back in for the weekend. So that would be really interesting to see. I don't think the club are going to admit it though, and that's why there's been no time frame given out by the club as they usually do with some of the other players when they're out. El Neni comes back in as well, of course, also being back from COVID after self-isolating as well. I expect him to kind of come in against Spurs as well, so he needs to get his kind of form back up again, and this provides the perfect opportunity for him to get minutes on the pitch. One of the two players, I'm not expecting both of them to start. I'd love them to both start, these youngsters, Balogun and Emile Smith-Rowe. If Emile Smith-Rowe, I'd be shocked if Emile Smith-Rowe doesn't start this game, to be honest. I think this would be a great opportunity to throw him into the team. But there's all the possibilities that Willock, who's played very well during the Europa League this season, could also come in to the lineup. Balogun playing up front would be great, of course, scoring against Mulder. It was basically his first touch in a senior Arsenal shirt. In his second appearance, of course, came on against Mulder in the last game. Or it might have been Dundalk, thinking back. But hopefully he gets a start in this game. It's really good to see him get a lot of minutes. And Aziz could be coming off the bench into midfield. But Nketiah, I expect to get minutes in this game. Lacazette, of course, came off the bench against... I'm trying to put it out of my mind so much. It was Wolves that we last played, trying to put that defeat as far in the back of my mind as possible. But Lacazette could definitely play, and I expect Aubameyang could. Aubameyang's not going to be anywhere near this team for this game. They're going to be resting him again ahead of the weekend. So, Wolfgang, having looked at that team...
Where's Ozil?
Who's what, sorry?
Where's Ozil?
What do you think of it? Do you think this is something that ultimately... Again, this is kind of the similar questions I asked you last time, is that you're a side that is coming up against, you're coming against a very good side in Arsenal, but you ultimately know they're not going to be playing a lot of their first string players, especially having now qualified for the next round already. Do you think Rapid will be looking at this team and thinking, we can go at these guys and we can give them a good game?
Good game. Never seen Izzo before, so
Emile Smith-Rowe.
Yeah, never seen before. So
no, never. Oh, he's a good player. He's a good player.
He's a good player. So, yeah, but I can see Nketiah, great striker. I've seen him in Vienna. He played his aggressive player. should have got red in the game for his elbowing. But okay, ref didn't see it. Was a game changer for me. But he's a good, great player, and I guess he will start, as you say. He should start. So that's absolutely good. No, this team will be too good for Rapid Vienna in any. So they will do the same again like they did in Vienna. But they play at home, so they will make the game from the first minute. And they won't give Rapid any space on the pitch to create any chances. So if they have a chance, it would be lucky. Maybe a corner kick, maybe a free kick. But from the game, I can't see any possibility for Rapid Vienna to win against Arsenal. Maybe a point, yeah, but a point only if Arsenal will say, come on, I will give you the point. But you need it against Molde or something else. But from the game directly, I don't expect any. We'll say every result without a 5-0 will be good.
Well, I think you're being really harsh on yourself.
Really.
I genuinely, having watched Arsenal this season, the game against Molde, and we played a better side than I think we're going to play on Thursday. Molde were arguably the better side in the first half for a lot of it, and we looked under pressure at times. Second half, obviously, we blitzed them a bit in the second half, and obviously the subs that came on made a big difference in that game. But I genuinely think that Thursday's game is going to be very different to a massive thrashing. The biggest thing, actually, that is about this game is something that's not even on the pitch, is that this is going to be the first game in England that has fans in the ground since the lockdown. Yeah, so there's going to be 2,000 fans in the stadium because obviously lockdown finishes today specifically, and if you're in a tier 2 zone, which London is, you can have 2,000 fans. If you're in a tier 1 zone, like in I think Southampton possibly, you can have up to 4,000 fans. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. Singing and chanting is banned. Like it's not banned. It's discouraged, is what the government has laid out. So you still have to wear masks, but you still are advised not to sing and chant. Now I don't know how they're going to police that. You start singing, you're told not to sing. You say no, and I mean, what are they going to do? It's like they're going to throw you out.
What happened to our sport? What happened?
It's mad, isn't it? But like, I ultimately, and whilst I'm very much a stickler for the rules at times, and I've always been down the line of you need to follow the guidance that's out there, but I do get incredibly frustrated with the lack of coherency and the lack of kind of black and white in terms of the rules. Like either do this or don't do this, but no, they say words like discouraged. Like, how do you take that? Like, does that mean that you're going to get in trouble if you do it? Does it mean that you should try and avoid it? Does it mean that do not do it? They need to be clearer with these rules, and it's just stupid at this point that it gets to that level. So it'll be interesting to see having the fake crowd sound off and maybe hearing some fan sounds in the ground. I think it would be great to hear obviously the fans in the stadium, but if it's advised not to, then you do you. So yeah. Anyway, let's get on to predictions then. You did say anything other than a 5-0 would be positive, but I think you're going to be better than that. So
because I like to explain why I say this.
Go on.
Rapid playing last week have a lot of shots on goal, but I guess 35 shots on goals, while Austria only had 6 or something of them. And the result was a 1-1. So the biggest problem right now is defense. Defense is very unstable. All the sharp corners, all the sharp crosses, all the high balls in the box is dangerous.
Yeah.
So you have really, really good strikers in the box at Arsenal. So if they will come in a high cross, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 in a row, they will fall some goals. And if they will get 2 or 3 goals in the stadium in England, come on. The young players here, for example, will play like God on this day.
Yeah.
And do whatever they want. I've seen him. We talked about this last time. I've seen the game Rapid Vienna against Valencia some years ago in Valencia, the 6-0. I was there. Exactly the same happened. If Arsenal can score a very fast goal, maybe 2 very fast goals, game is over.
it is a case of if Arsenal get an early goal, because Rapid do need to get. They don't need. They can avoid defeat, and then they would go into that last game against Molde. We're expecting that Molde will beat Dundalk in their game. If Rapid were to get a point from this, it's huge. It's effectively something that could arguably qualify.
Exactly. But for this, they need to take risks on the first minute. So what I say, they will maybe take the risk in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
there will be a counter attack from Arsenal, but the score is 1-0.
Yeah. If Arsenal get an early goal, if Arsenal do get an early goal, then I expect the scoreline could be bigger. It would depend when that first goal goes in, who ultimately gets that. If Rapid get the first goal, I expect them to shut up shop and just go for just stay as long as they possibly can.
Possible. Yeah, everything is possible.
Yeah.
Let's say maybe they will do the game in the first 5-10 minutes, but we'll get a counter attack goal.
Yeah.
And then it's over. So and then they will have to make the field more open and must attack more and more. And maybe they get a second goal from the attack that. And it's 2-0. So the game is over. Because Rapid need to make a stable game. They need to get at least 1 point. But if they will get 4, 5, or 6 goals, it'll be massive for the team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Arsenal is able to do this. The squad is strong enough to do it,
And the thing is like, yes, we talked about the fact that Arsenal might be putting a weaker side out, but if Arsenal put what we describe as a weaker side, you've got a lot of young kids in there who are desperate to show Mikel Arteta they should be getting a place in the first team. So none of those players are going to be necessarily taking it easy. Alfred in the chat says, why is Leno playing? The reason I put Leno in instead of Runnison is because obviously with the North London derby at the weekend, goalkeepers aren't something necessarily you have to worry too much about fitness. There's always a very slight chance that something like what happened against Brighton can happen. But what I would say is that we need to give the goalkeeper momentum, keep him hot, keep him ready ahead of that game. That's why I've put Leno in over Runnison. But to be honest, if I was a betting man, I would probably expect the Icelandic international to play. So it'd be interesting. I'm going to go for...
Be happy. Be happy it's Leno, not Karius.
Yes, true. Very, very, very true. It could be Karius. You're right. It could be Karius. Poor Liverpool fans. Well, not poor Liverpool fans. They're doing fine right now. But no, in terms of predictions, I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think we will concede because I just feel like Rapid will be ultimately... It'll either go one or two ways. I think Rapid will either get an early goal from their early push and Arsenal won't be awake and they'll get caught, or what will happen is that Arsenal will ultimately get an early goal and that will mean that Rapid have to come out and attack and there might be a goal that way. I can't see it being a clean sheet for either side, to be honest. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 to the Arsenal. Same as Sam Tressida in the chat. Daniel Robert says 6-0. So he's not been very kind to you, Wolfgang, there.
Absolutely okay. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be possible. It's not really... not a lie. And
you reckon
he's wrong with this.
Yeah, no.
All assists from ESR, I don't think so, but...
yeah, Balogun with all 6 goals.
I don't think so too.
Yeah. It would be quite a spectacle if that happened, for sure. Owen says 4-1, Balogun brace. Ed says 4-1 and the kids are going to run wild during the game. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of scoreline it actually turns out from this game. Of course, we'll be live immediately after the game for your take and your reactions in the chat box, as we always do. Zed Tom is saying 3-1 Arsenal. Dan said 6-0 and he's being generous. He's not being very nice, Dan. The hubris from Dan this evening is up there with the best of them. Harry Kingham says, up the Arsenal, hoping for a good solid game. We must win tomorrow and at the weekend. Rafs Wonders says 3-2 to the Arsenal. I think there's a big kind of thing around Arsenal gaining momentum ahead of what is such a huge game for them.
3-2 would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be a good game.
Yeah.
It would be a good game, ultimately.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It feels weird. Like, I don't want us to batter Rapid. Like, I actually would rather that they went through with us, and I think it would have a massive detrimental effect on them mentally. So I'd rather that didn't happen. But obviously, we're going. Obviously, we want an Arsenal win. I would just prefer if Rapid went through with us than Molde, to be honest. So yeah, that is the way we're sitting at it. Thank you ever so much, people, for listening. Wolfgang, do you want to tell people where they can find you on social media? Not in real life, was 1, that would be illegal, and 2, a little bit strange. But do you want to tell people where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, easily to find me on social media is on Twitter. under my name, Wolfgang Gasparik. Although I'm there on Instagram. You can find me on my name, just putting my name there. And on LinkedIn, I'm also on LinkedIn. I don't like social media as much, so.
No, you're not alone.
I'm not a fan of social media because I don't. I'm a natural guy. I like to talk to people. I like to stand in front of people, talk to them. But it's just nice to sit here on my desktop and talk to you. But it would be nice to talk with you directly, drink a beer, and maybe to see the game in your studio. It must not be in the stadium, but just drink a beer in your studio to commentate the game together.
Exactly.
Nice to make a commentation.
We just want the world to come back to normal. That's all we want. That's all we want is the world to get back to normal so that we can have a beer and can watch the games and can do everything that we love in regards to football, because football isn't just a 90 minutes. It's everything that goes with it. So fingers crossed with the news of a vaccine, maybe we're getting closer. Maybe, fingers crossed that we are getting closer to getting back to normal life. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock. I believe it is. It's not an early kickoff because it's in Western Europe, so it should be a later kickoff. So that'll be interesting to see what happens, of course, leading up to the North London derby. Wolfgang, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Guys, thank you, Chatbox, for tuning in. As always, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and of course, tune in straight after the game tomorrow for our Raw Reaction show. We'll be back again very, very soon, and as always, up the Arsenal.